I believe my screen is shared now.
Yes, we can see your screen. Morning, Onye. Welcome, Tope. Temi Top. Did you do your homework? Temi Top, did you do your homework? I didn't hear you. Anyway, so Onye, did you do your homework? I can't remember. Let me check.
Yes, I did.
So was he clear? Do you understand what needed to be done?
Yeah, I did what I, thought were asked to do, but I'm yet to get feedback or corrections or anything.
Okay. So it was to sketch something. Timmy, do you want to just expand on what the homework was?
Okay. If I'm correct, I think the homework's about you having a quick wireframe of a quick sketch of MixLR wireframe, right? The home screen, and I think the screens were listed there. Then you don't necessarily need to use Figma for now because you have not been taught how to use Figma. So you can, yeah, what you need to do is just do a quick sketch, like that's why we call it a wireframe. And this is going to be the unsketched part of it, not using necessarily using Figma. We don't know how to use Figma yet.
Okay, but I used Figma in mind. I also sketched it. I think I'll just send a picture of the one I sketched because I only submitted the one I did with Figma.
Okay, okay. It's fine. If you did it with Figma too, it's fine, no problem.
Okay.
We can hear you, ma. Your microphone is mute.
Oh dear. I was going to say, sorry about that. Does Onye want to get a feedback now?
Yeah, if someone has gone through it and wants to give me a feedback.
Are you able to share your screen? Can you show us now?
Okay. No, I don't have it on my phone.
Okay, that's fine. So it's on the forum.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So we'll look at it. Deborah, could you please check that after this session?
All right, ma'am.
Okay, so I think we should start so that we're not running over time.
Okay. Okay. So I can go ahead, right?
Yes.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Simi Alamu, and then I'm going to be taking this session, the third one, I guess, of this program, this bootcamp. And today, before we do anything, I'd like us. Are we there?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I can.
Okay. So I want us to have a quick recap of what we did last week, Saturday, and then we can proceed from there. Last week, we talked about fundamentals of design, if you still remember very clearly. So I need one or two persons to at least give us a quick recap before I proceed.
Okay, I think we talked about 5 things.
Yeah.
The building blocks, like the structure. I'll say one thing.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Are we there? we talk about we talk about we talk about skeleton, if you still remember.
Yeah.
We talk about scope. All right. We talk about
Ye-
strategy as well, and we talk about surface. Are we there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so those are some of, and we talk about strategy has been the reason for our product. All right. Are we really sure we understood some of those things? Because I'm not sure the way we are talking, we really understood those terms.
You can just recap if there's
Okay,
an
okay,
example.
okay. Okay, so we talk about the strategy as being the reason for our product, all right? Why people are willing to buy into the product and why they need it. This is like the main goal. The main goal of this is to define the needs and the objective of the product in particular. So it's the essence of the product we are pushing out into the market. All right. And of course, this could be done through the strategic research process when we gather information from the users. And as we have been told that our design is user-centered. It is for some set of people, for particular targeted people. So we should be able to know what they really want, which will help us to be able to strategize along that way. Then we'll talk about scope, all right? Scope, which is where we determine the type of products that we are building, all right? And then, many of these informations are what many of these points are going to be uh, direct, we are going to be directed to many of these points by some of the research that I've gotten, all right? Because if we don't have a data or research information that we are going to work with, it will be so difficult for us to have a clear scope of how the product is going to look like or how we're going to pattern this particular product. All right. So then again, we talk about structure. All right. And structure, yes, we talk about structure, which is how we organize our designs, how we want each person that is using the product to be able to interact with it. We'll structure out how we want them to be able to use that particular product. Then I think the last one we talk about is skeleton. We talk about skeleton. Okay, no, skeleton, then we talk about surface. Then skeleton is basically the the bone structure of of our design or our product, which is going to be like a layout that we are going to be is going to be like the framework for the entire product. All right, just like the human skeleton, for example, we have the skeleton forms the framework of the body before we now have it covered with the skin. So it determines the structure, I mean the look and the frame of the particular product we are working on. Then the surface is when we have the skeleton in place, of course, we have the surface, which is going to give us the beautiful and the beautiful look of that particular product. All right. So I think there was an illustration that was used that you can think of like a makeup, all right? A makeup that you wear to make you to look attractive, to make you to look acceptable in the public. Then I think we proceed to the principles of design. And under the principles of design, we talk about quite a number of things. We started with emphasis, then we'll talk about balance, we talk about contrast and repetition, scale and proportion, movements, hierarchy, and and hierarchy. So, and one of the things I remember we were also told to, as part of the assignment, to list out some other elements of designs. I don't know if anybody were able to work on that. if it's part of the stuff you submitted on the channel.
Okay, I think we were told to look into other elements of design.
Yes.
Okay, did anyone do that?
Yeah, I was able to get a few more, but they were not up to 10. Because we're told to get about 10 more in addition to the one we're given in
Okay,
class.
you can share the one you checked out.
Okay, there's unity.
Okay.
This has to do with how well the elements of a design work together. Yeah, and okay. I was also able to come up with white space or negative space.
Okay.
And it refers to an area of a design that has no design element. Like the space doesn't have to be white necessarily, but it's just it's important for making a design uncluttered, as well as for making various elements stand out. Okay. Then there is pattern, which refers to a repetition of design elements. Okay, I think we talked about that one already.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, it's just a repetition of design elements. They can also refer to set standards for how certain elements are designed.
Wow.
Yes, those are the ones I was able to come up with.
Well done. That's really good. Deborah, what do you have to say to that?
I'm impressed. She actually touched some of the most important parts of the principles. I'm very impressed. I'm impressed because the information she's giving out, it shows she's really into the whole thing, which is a good sign.
Thank you.
Did anyone else look into, the assignment on extra or other consideration for design? Maybe you want to share your.
There are other forms. There are other ones actually. We have form. We have value and some other things as well.
Okay, perfect. So does anyone have any question about the homework or what we did last week before we move on to this week? Okay, I suppose you can crack on, Timmy.
Okay. Good. I think my screen is still shared, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So starting with today, with UX design, right? We talked about the fundamental of UI last week. We talked more about the design parts, the interface parts. Now we are going to be talking more about the UX today. And like I said, I'm going to be asking some questions along the line, but I'd like to take most of the trainings first. All right, let me make this to be full screen. Okay, so welcome to class once again. I'm going to start with what UX really means. All right, what UX really means. Now, UX stands for user experience design, and UX stands for user experience. Of course, you have it, the design part as well. So in the beginning, I tried to break it down so that even those who are completely new in the field will be able to understand it in a very simple form, like in a layman's language, right? And as you can see on your screen, I have some simple definitions of the terms, right? Now we have design, first of all, which means how something looks and work, all right? So design means how something looks and works. And also we have experience, which basically means an interaction with an interaction that someone can have with a product. So experience means an interaction that someone can have with the product. Then we have users. Simply means those people that you are going to be designing for, all right? The people you are designing for, they are the users. So even as a as a UX designer and you have a client, your client is not really the users, all right? It is those people that will interact with the products or the design at the end of the day. Those are the people you call the users, right? And from this breakdown, you can say that user experience is basically the design process, is a process of designing products that are useful and easy to use and a player to engage. Again, user experience is the process of designing products that are useful, easy to use, and a pleasure to engage. All right. So I think I've said this, the full form of UX is user experience. And I like to make a quick emphasis here because there is a distinction between UX and UI. A lot of people try to mix the two together. And that's why I want to take some few to explain further. UX is completely different from UI. And even though they are like twin, all right, they are holding each other by the hands and working to achieve the same goal or to ensure that there is a success in the particular product. But they're actually working to different side of the coin. All right. So why both of them are actually going towards the goal of providing a good experience for the user. UX designers and UI designers work different side of the coin. So let's see what each one does in the design. Now, there is this quote by Rachel Vaslin that says that user experience and user interface, they are not the same thing. And it says UI without UX is like painter slapping paint onto a canvas without thought, while UX is without UI is like the frame of a sculpture with no paper matched into it. Now, what he's just trying to emphasize here is the importance of the two. He's not trying to say, oh, this is more important than the other. No, they are like can see a quick reference of what they look like from the screen. You see the picture of, yes, ma'am.
Can I interrupt you? Will it help if you don't share your screen? You're breaking up occasionally. So I don't know if you reduce the power on the video. If you don't share the screen, maybe that would help the internet. Sorry, if you're not sharing your video, right? Hello? I hope I'm not confusing you. Sharing your screen is fine.
Can you hear me?
Yes. You are in between. That's what I'm just saying.
Okay. But is everything okay now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I said, what this man is trying to emphasize on is the fact that the two of them are very important to the success of any product. Very, very important. So they work together in order for a designer, a UX designer to achieve, or UI or UX designer to achieve the goal, the stated goal. All right. So let's talk a brief history about UX. Now, this man you see on the screen is called John Norman. He's a of cognitive science and user experience architect. He used to be one of the he once worked at Apple Corporation back in the 90s. Then one of the things he said is actually the one that coined the word user experience. Is the one that coined that word user experience before it became something that everybody now use as common, thing right now. So, and what he said from his definition is that user experience encompasses all aspects of the end user's interaction. User experience encompasses all aspects of the end user's interaction with the company, its services, and its products. So user experience covers the interaction of an end user with the company, its services, and its products. Now, it's actually not just talking about digital products this time around. It's both digital and physical products. And as you can see, there is an involvement of the company also in the UX. All right, we're still going to be exploring, going deeper into these as we proceed in the class today. Now, this man also is the author of this very popular book, The Design of Everyday Things. And it's a very, 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 very good book that I would recommend for every one of us. I will recommend the book that we all go. I will try as much as possible to send the e-copy of the book to us so that we can have access to go through the book. It's a very important book. And one of the things he talked about in that book is it talked about what is called the Norman doors. I don't know if anybody has heard about it before. Norman doors. And then what he called Norman doors are doors that actually says opposite of what they mean. All right. Norman doors says opposite of what they means. Now, he actually used the illustration of Norman doors, but that actually applies to every other thing. Because he said in the book that there was a time he traveled to another country and he got to realize that he couldn't use most of the gadgets, the light switches, the tap, the most of the things that the doors and all of those, he couldn't use them because he found out a defect in most of the designs. The designs were not actually making it easy for people to use them. People had to think and struggle to use most of those products. So that was one of the things that prompted him to work and research further to come up with this particular book. All right. So when you read the book, you get to get more insights as to what he's trying to say. So just trying to do a quick throwback to how the word UX term come to what we begin to see today. All right. So in continuation to what UX is, it says UX applies to anything that can be experienced, be it a website, a coffee machine, or a visit to the supermarket. So you can see this, it applies to whether a website, it could be an app, a coffee machine, or a visit to the supermarket. So as a UX designer, one of your major goals is to make sure that you make the end users to feel great and you make the product so easy for them to use. You make sure that every task on that, every goal of the user is accomplished with ease, that they wouldn't even need to go through a huge manual or don't even need to go through any documentation before they can use the product. So that's how easy you should make the user experience to be. That's how simple you should make it to be. All right. And like I used to tell most people, when I take my classes, I tell them that, see, many people will hail you for a product that is very, very, sophisticated. They will hail you. They will say, wow, this is beautiful. This is fantastic. Oh, this is huge. But eventually, you got to realize that they will go for the one that is very easy for them to use. They can shout and scream about your, because you have a lot of technicalities and all that, but they will eventually go for the one that is simple. They could find their through it easily, because nobody wants to keep racking their brain around the product for so long before they get to use it. It should be something that mere looking at the thing, it says self-described, self-explanatory, self-discovery. Like you can easily see what they mean. All right, you can easily interpret the feedbacks. All right, from that book, the design of everyday things, one of the things that the man said is that there is something called discoverability, which means there should be that thing that when they see, the user will be able to discover those things themselves. That message should be well passed in the form of that design, in the form of a design that the user will be able to know, okay, this is what this thing is meant to do. This is what this thing is meant to do next. All right. So, and it talks about feedback as well. All right. It talks about feedback. Imagine if you have to put on your laptop before you can know if it's charging when plugged in. Let me come again. Imagine if your laptop is down now and you have to put it on before you can see whether it's charging. It's a huge stress. But you don't even need to do that. Once you plug in your laptop, you can see from an indicator that, oh, this thing is charging. And when it gets to probably about to get filled up or to be fully charged, you get to know there's a light indicator that shows up. The light changes, you see it change. And even if you're using the laptop, by the time the laptop battery is going down, you see the battery starts blinking, you see notifications telling you need to plug in your laptop. All right. It won't just go off suddenly. Imagine if you are not notified and nothing happens, when the battery just go drain up, everything just went off suddenly. It's a very, very poor experience on the user. And you could be doing something very vital at that time that you can't even afford to, for your laptop to go off. So those are some of the things that makes the UX an important subject for every product. All right. So let's quickly talk about some of the connections and differences between UX and UI. All right, so UX designers enhances user satisfaction by improving products, usability, and accessibility. They improve user satisfaction by improving the user usability and accessibility. So, but UI, on the other hand, what they do basically, majorly, is to make sure that the product interface looks and feel enjoyable for the user. All right. I most time call it the love at first sight. That's their work. They make it to look attractive enough. They make it to look easily accessible for you, that you're able to walk your way around with a good feeling. And then UX designers are the ones that are going to draw the map of the product, just like the skeletal part of the product is being carried out in the UX process. Then the UI part is where the product is being fleshed out, whereby you have a lot of paintings, colorations, and some other things added to the product. It makes it to look good. All right. UX is where you draw the frame structure, the framework of the product. All right, whereby, but in the UI part, that's where you touch it up with a more, you enhance the look, you make it to look attractive and beautiful. So in summary, the two of them, the UI and the UX parts, they are very, very crucial. You can't throw one into the bin and pick up one. Of course, we have people that, okay, some people major in UI, some people major in UX. But whether you're majoring in UI, the two of them, they are needed for you to have a product, right? They are needed for you to have a product that is efficient, that is easily accessible, a responsive product by the user. For the user. So it's very, very, very essential. Okay, a little difference between them, all right? So UX, I said, is about the feel. UX is about the whole experience, all right? The interaction. Why UI is about the now, in product design generally, in product design generally, you see the process begins with the UX, then before proceeding to the to the UI, just like the designing of a house. All right, when you want to build a house, you don't just start building. All right, there is going to be a sketch plan, a design, probably a 2D design of how everything is going to look like, where that's where you say, okay, we want to have 2 bedrooms in this house, we want to have 3 bedrooms, we want to have the living room by this side of this place. Everything are going to be sectioned from the design, from that sketch. All right, which we can call the UX. All right, so it makes us to draw a framework of the product from the scratch, from the beginning, even before we begin to make it to look attractive to any other person. So both are is essential for the product success. All right. Oh, yes, UX isn't limited to digital space. So anything can be experienced, anything that can be experienced can be designed, from the packaging of a toothbrush to that of a pressing iron, and to that of a wardrobe that we use in our house. Everything, there is a UX part of them. All right. And before, many of us watched in that IDEO video that we watched in the first class, we were able to see how the products went through a rigorous research process, and whereby they were able to gather information and data, and all of those things were used to present the final output of that shopping cart. Okay, so that's to show us that it's not just about digital products, about mobile apps, websites, and all of those things. It applies to physical products as well. So, and many of us will notice it in our different houses. Some of the things that we are finding difficult to use because of the poor user experience design on that particular product. Now, this is, I like this illustration a lot, because many times when I try to use this, people get to have a better grasp of what UX is. All right, because UX is so essential that once you miss the major part of it, it's going to be like a frustration for the user. All right, so let's take the UX of a banana as a case study. All right, so now this is a picture of a banana, and looking at this picture itself, you can see a whole lot of things. You can read a whole lot of and some people say it's still one of the best. It's still one of the products that I can describe that has the best UX, like a product that has one of the best user experience ever. You want to know why? Because number one, you can easily grab a banana anywhere, and you wouldn't want to worry to, whether to get something to wash it or something. It is well protected that you don't need to wash it, consumed anytime, anywhere, like instantly. You don't need to get home before you can consume it. You don't need to do any special it again. It is well packaged for consumption. All right. And another thing you notice is, look at this picture, the first picture here. You can see the banana is green. And what does that tell you? When the banana is green like this, you know the state of that banana. You don't need to open it before you know that this banana is here to be ripe. Okay, it's not yet. Banana is ready. It's ripe, or it's ripe already. So, and the last one here, you see it. When you see this, you automatically know that this banana is rotting already. It's rotting already. So it's a very good expression of a very fantastic UX. And that's why you can see, just by looking at banana, there's no question of if it is ready or not. Bananas have a built-in accurate visual cue. So you don't have to wait time questioning or testing to see if it's ready, because it is designed to be very obvious. It is designed to be obvious. And as you can see from this banana illustration, you already know how to peel it. All right. You can see there are even lines around it. There are lines around it. There's a way you hold it without even touching the content of the banana. So it's a well-balanced illustration for UX, and that's why I decided to use this. Are we all with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yes.
Okay, so let's proceed. Now, we've been talking about UX, this UX, that UX is good and all of that. So now let's talk about some good and bad UX around us. I actually cited an examples. I'll use some of my examples as case study. So, and this time around, I would like us to contribute, at least for some part of this, I like us to contribute. So I'm going to show the next slide. Now, and before then, there is what we call good UX and bad UX. And obviously, I don't need to explain what a good UX and bad UX means again. Obviously, you know, a good UX is what is going to make the user to feel fulfilled using that product, while a bad one is going to make them feel discouraged, feel bad. They'll feel unfulfilled using that particular product. Okay, so you can see this when you use a product that has a good UX, you recommend to friends, and you become a loyal client. All right. Then when you have a bad experience with the product, of course, you're going to tell your friends how bad it is.
Okay.
I can't
It's
hear him.
frozen. The thing is frozen. Oh, it's actually big. Yeah, it's still there. Just give me a few minutes.
All right. And
We lost you
and
for.
obviously search for an alternative.
We lost you for a few. Okay, it's gone completely. Timmy. Oh, sorry, not. Okay, bear with us while Timmy get back online.
Okay, I think I'm here now.
Okay. Okay. If you not share your own video, not your screen, will that save the Wi-Fi from fluctuating?
Okay.
I found that people do that and it helps occasionally.
Okay, you mean I should reshare?
No, if you, okay, like now you can see my video.
Yeah.
So if you stop sharing your video, but you still share your screen.
Okay.
Or if you want me to share the screen, I can from my side. Do you want me to?
Okay, let me stop my video then.
Okay. Do you want me to present?
Oh yeah, you can. But I think you can.
Whichever one is easier for you. I'm fine with that. Carry on. Let's see how we get on.
Okay. Are we on to this page with me before the thing went off?
We're not seeing anything yet.
Oh, okay. A minute.
Okay. I think we stopped at the banana.
Okay, at the banana page.
Banana.
I think it was the page with the
This
emojis.
page. Yeah.
Emojis. That one. No, the emoji.
The next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, banana stuck in my brain.
Okay. All right. So I'm trying to use this to tell us
Just take it. Just finish. No.
the different types of
It's a
experience you can have with the
something
products. And I said we have good and we have the bad. All right, we have good UX and we have bad UX. So, and I said good UX will make you to be able to recommend, will make users or the end users to be able to recommend the product to people, to other people, and would will confirm their loyalty to your product. So, but bad UX will make them to tell people about how bad it is, and that would discourage so many people from coming on board. Of course, it's going to affect your market. It's going to affect a whole lot of things. Your a lot of things about the business. So, and that those people too, they will definitely, if they have been using your product before, they will automatically look for an alternative, the one that will meet their needs exactly. Are we there?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I said, depending on how you make the product to be, the experience of the product to be, all right, it can range from delightful to downright frustrating. So I said, depending on how the product or services is designed, the experience can range from being delightful to downright frustrating. And of course, our goal here is to make products that are delightful, easy to use, is making our users to feel fulfilled and happy, and in turn, making the company itself to prosper, to expand, to grow. Okay, so now this is where I'm going to start. If you remember the other time I was talking about Norman doors, so this is an example, all right? And of course, these are things that are found everywhere. Not just these doors, there are so many bad UX everywhere. Of course, you might not know, you might not reason it along bad UX, but they are really bad UX, all right? And you can see every time you cause a push door that has a pull bar or a close, every time you cause a push door that has a pull bar or close a confusing website in frustration, you are making a judgment on the quality of its UX design. I think that is clear enough. So there has been times when some of us, jam doors like this, whereby, are we listening? Are we with me?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I'm sure many of us have been into situations whereby you see a door or a door like this, whereby you look at this door, for example, the handle there indicates that you should pull, all right? So that's the design. The design automatically, to the normal human mind, would say pull, because you hold the handle and you pull to yourself. But now the instruction there is to push. So this is an example of a Norman door. It tells you exactly exactly opposite of what you're meant to do. So that's a Norman door. Okay. So let's talk about another example. Now I want someone to tell me what's wrong with the UX of this box. Yeah. Can anybody tell me? There are two boxes there actually. We have this first one and this is the second one. So I need one person to tell me for the first one and another person for the second one.
Okay, for the first one, I think the save is actually meant to be like the color around the deletes. There's emphasis on the deletes there, but it's actually meant to be on the save.
Good.
It's not meant to be on the delete.
Exactly.
And then I think the save is meant to be on the right side, because that's what you expect the user. Like, it's easier for someone to click on the save that way if it's on the right side, while the delete is on the other side.
Okay. Okay. Are you talking about the box?
I didn't hear you.
I said, are you referring to the one on the left-hand side right now?
No. I'm talking about still the first box. I feel the positioning, like the save there is meant to be where the delete is, because it's easier to like press it if you're considering how you're holding your phone. It's easier to click on save, Like I feel that's the whole essence. You would want somebody to save after doing whatever
Yes,
it is on
because
the page.
that delete button is not supposed to be a thing that you do like that. It should be an action that will be the last thing that you want to do. Because once you delete, you may not be able to recover that thing again. And it will be a very painful thing for a user to delete, because it's easier for them to quickly click on that button. And once it is deleted, that it's gone. All right, so it's on, it should be at that point. So what about the second one? Can anybody, one other person tell us what's wrong with this other one? Anybody?
I think it's the order. You know, we said checkbox to unsubscribe. So cancel is a bit confusing for me as a user.
Yeah, very much confusing. And another thing there is that if you look at it very well, there is no way to unsubscribe. You can see the buttons there. There is literally no way to unsubscribe. If you check the button, you still have cancel or unsubscribe. All right. So it would have been better if this is unsubscribe, all right, or the design is refined completely. So this is completely frustrating. So, and that makes it a very bad user experience. All right. So let's on to the next one. We can see these are other examples as well. User experience of bad user experience. Look at this. This is saying cancel my booking. It says, do you really want to cancel this booking? Now the first button says cancel.
Timmy,
now
to adjust the speaker. It's
the
like
second one says yes, cancel it.
It's like you're breathing into.
Please go ahead, ma.
It's making a noise.
From my hand?
Yeah.
Oh.
Carry on. I think it's stopped now. It was as if somebody was breathing through the speaker. But it's fine now.
Okay. Okay. So look at the first one here, the one that has the booking. You can see it says cancel my booking. That's the box. It says, now says, do you really want to cancel this booking? It says cancel. The other one says yes, cancel it. You can see from here, there's a confusion around here. So the only option you have here is to cancel. All right, you can't go back. All right, so this button is kind of saying the same thing if you look at it. So it's a bit confusing, and it's not a good way to design this particular page, this particular pop-up, this box. Then the other one here, you can see right from the arrangement of the text and the choice of font and everything, a lot of things are not fine. Then when you look at here, there's an instruction for them to click on OK, which is not even present here. You see, it says your pickup time has changed to this time. It says based on store availability, please re-enter any discount code or vehicle information after clicking OK. And if you look down here, there is nothing like OK button. You only have no, you only have yes. So at this point, it leaves the user confused. It leaves the user trying to ask the question like, oh, what's going on here? What do I do next? Okay, and it's not really a good user experience. So, and it really needs to be worked on. All right, are we still on with me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. So now all these are telling us the importance and the effectiveness of having a sound and excellent UX design. All right, a sound, excellent, and usable UX design. It's not just about any other thing, but more importantly about the user, the comfort, the ease of access, and what makes the user to be fulfilled and be happy with that product. All right, so let's proceed. Let's proceed. And move on to the next slide. Okay, this is another example. We can quickly spot the issues here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This one, obviously, you know, the experience. How do you expect? This is like a way for the disabled people, and you can see how it is being designed. There's a pole right here, which is not meant to be. Okay, so this is a very, very poor user experience. So if the user asks, is going to be walking through down here. I don't know what they are trying to achieve, but I guess they're just trying to make a way, or they shouldn't have even put this thing there at all. All right, this signal there at all. All right. Then look at this on the other side. What do you think is wrong with this? Anybody? The one on the one on, from the car.
Well, I think the problem is you're saying that don't take your eyes off the road for too long, and it's a very long statement to read while you're driving as well. So it kind of contradicts what you're trying to do.
Exactly.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. You know, taking time to read this long text alone, it's a distraction. All right, you are taking off your eyes from the road already. So it's just too much text to give a warning. All right, too much text to give a warning. And that's why even on billboards, if you have noticed on billboards, you don't see too much text on all these big boards that they usually put on the main road. All right. It's always, you know, having large text, bold, very bold text, minimal text, so that even if you are driving, you can easily just gaze at the signage once and pick the text and still keep moving without getting distracted. All right. You wouldn't see too many text. You just see a caption that is you can easily pick at a single gaze. Pick the text, you see pictures. Most time they use pictures, illustrations a lot. All right. And you know, there's a way the picture registers in your brain that even when you take your eyes off the picture of the signage, you can still recollect the image you see on the signage. Okay, so that's why those are some of the ways, some of the simple ways you can improve user experience in a product. All right, some of the simple ways we can improve. Then I have this last example. Now this is a bit funny. It says, stop struggling with those stubborn plastic packages. And obviously we know what is wrong here. Are we there?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good example.
So you can see this is a failed product already. So it's a failed product already. You look at the packaging of the product itself. You know, it's totally saying something contradictory. All right. And I think I mentioned something about this full. Hey, look at this text now. Look at this text. Now, who can tell me what they want to say here in the real sense? What they actually want to say? Can anybody tell me?
Just push.
They want you to push. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's very easy for people to say, don't pull.
Yeah.
Or push only. So the arrangement of that is kind of confusing. So it brings the user into some users into confusion. If a user is not smart enough, they get to this place and be like, oh, what do I do? Do I push? Do I pull? Which one is the right one? All right. So it's one of the things. It's one of the things we'll talk about in the course of the class. So look at the other one here, the button thing.
So Timmy, that don't pull, don't or push only. So what should it be from design?
Normally, okay. In this case now, if you want to put don't push or push only, just say push. You don't getting to put the two instructions at the same time make it to look confusing. And the fact that they were put together, one of the things that I used to know what they are saying is that I use the color to decode it. You can see the blue simply means don't push, while the red means push only. All right. So, and even the color, even this color is not even the right to use at this point. All right. So the red color here is not the right one to use, but that's even on the UI side.
And you can read it either vertically or horizontally, and it means two different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It means two different things. It means two different things. So, and those are some of the things you need to really test and make sure it doesn't happen when you are when you are designing your product or you are designing anything. It's so essential. And this place, you can see the misuse of the symbols and the colors here. You can see enter having this X button, X symbol, and X simply means cancel. All right. So this should be for the enter. This should be for the close. So it's obviously contradicting each other. Why green shouldn't be for cancel, it should be for enter, red should be for cancel. So that's how it should be. Now, this packaging, for example, they are trying to tell you that, okay, this is what we want you to, we don't want you to struggle with plastic packages, so that there is a knife here that you can use to cut them. But cutting this thing off itself is a struggle. You even need a knife to peel or to open up this packaging. So it doesn't preach what it's saying. All right.
You need the product to open the product, essentially.
Exactly. You need the product to open the product. And it doesn't preach, it doesn't even like I said, it's a failed product automatically, like that way. It's a failed product. It's a failed product. And this happens.
They're trying to project the problem rather than the solution they're preferring.
Exactly. And we see this happen to several other products out there. It may not be in form of this. You see a lot of digital products that they were trying to actually provide a solution in their mind, but it's getting complicated out there for the users. Maybe because they didn't do their research well, or maybe they didn't do their testing well, or maybe in the design phase, a lot of things didn't go well. And it's telling on the user, because you are not going to be the one using these products. You have thousands of people out there, millions of people out there that are going to be using. And that's one of the things. It's a bit difficult to, the user experience thing is a very vital role in any product. Imagine you are making a product for a huge number of people. That you need to work the process. You need to do a lot of work. You need to follow some process. You need to make your researches and get your facts and figures right, and act as the way you're supposed to act. And before you can package that in and say, okay, this is now a product for this set of people. So that's why it's so much essential. So without wasting much time, I'd like us to go further and see what is now a good UX, all right? What makes a good user experience for a particular product? So in summary, this is one of the common, or let me say a general standard, industry standard for a good UX. And it says that a good product with good UX will be, number one, useful, which means it's going to meet the needs, all right? It's going to be usable. It's going to be desirable. It's going to be findable. It's going to be accessible and credible. You can see those words, useful. So these are the questions you have. Is it useful? Is it usable? Is it desirable? Is it findable? Is it accessible? Is it credible, believable? All these factors are really, really essential before a product can really thrive, can really be acceptable by the people, by the people that are going to be using them. Okay, it's so essential you ensure these factors are present. Then how do you ensure those things are present? Of course, we need to do the work. We need to do our, background work, and that's where right away. Does anybody have a question? Any questions so far? Does anybody have a question? Can we hear me?
Yes, please. Please, how do we make the product findable?
Awesome. Now, if you have, of course, it depends on the product because we have different products. All right, different products. But let me see if I can use okay, let's say I'm trying to see which example will fit in best for these. Okay, let's say you are an e-commerce company, and then you want people to come on board to shop, and then like an hour time. Okay, so let's say you have an e-commerce platform that you want people to come on board to shop. All right, number one of the things that will make them to be findable is you do your marketing research work, all right, so that you know the set of people who are going to be getting that needs that particular product. Then you know how to target the product towards them, because obviously it's not really everybody that will be using your product or that will be interested in what you do. But from your research, of course, you have some set of people that, oh, these people are my targeted audience. All right. And there's something called communication. All right. And also there's something called empathy. Now, empathy is can be designed, can be put simply as putting yourself in other people's shoe. I think that's the way I like to put it. You can imagine yourself in the shoe of someone else. All right. So you can imagine that, okay, if I need a particular product now, when I go online and search for this particular thing, of course, it's going to bring me as one of the options, one of the recommended options for me to get that particular product. All right. And the interesting thing is, as people get to find your products, they tend to share the news. Of course, another way you do is you should make Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. Okay. So so once you have been able to make your market research and you are satisfying so many people, you have access to, people even doing most of the marketing for you that is going to be available. Is marketing for you for other people. So it's one of the ways you can make your products to be findable by the people. All right. And of course, you also have to do the work. You need to find buyers. All right. You need to find buyers for your products. Tell them about the importance of that particular thing. Go to there's something called lookalike audiences, right? You look for people that is interested in a product that looks similar to your own. and try to target them, because there's a way you can do that. You can look for, okay, let's say you see people, you can get list of people that are interested in e-commerce products. I mean, buying stuff online or e-commerce. So you can easily get that lookalike audiences and use them so that you can present and place your product in front of them. Are you clear with that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So let's proceed.
Okay,
so
I
these are
have
the
one
main
question.
industry. These are the
Please.
major. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, from your definition of bad and good UX, okay, I want to ask if people outside of your target audience find your product difficult to use, can it still be said that the product has a bad UX? For example, you're creating a digital product or a tech product,
Okay.
and then tech savvy people find it very easy to use. And then peradventure, someone who is not tech savvy comes in contact with it and tries to use it, but then it's kind of difficult for them to figure it out. Is it still a bad UX? Like, I want to understand.
Okay. You said, if I get the question correctly, you said some people are able to find it easy to use,
Yes.
right? Why some
Yes.
people are not able to use it?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Now, of course, if you have some set of people finding your product difficult to use, that, let me even say it this way: there is no perfect product. Okay, there is no perfect product. You should know that there's no perfect product. That's why in the UX design process, you do research, you do tests, you launch, then you repeat the process. Okay, you repeat the process, because there are some of the things when you were trying to do the first launch, or at the time you launch, you miss out some things, and or they are not perfectly fit at that time. That's why you need to get feedbacks. All right, you work with feedbacks when you realize that, okay, this set of people are complaining about this and this, and realize something that you can easily fix on the product. Then, of course, you would need to find a way around it to research and find reasons why they are finding it difficult to use, and see if it's something you could quickly integrate or implement on the product, so that they tend to get to use it more efficiently. So there is always room for improvement in any product. So that's why I said there's no perfect product yet.
Okay, thank you.
I have something to add.
But is it okay?
So these people that are finding the products not so easy to are going within your target audience, because you said something like, okay, the tech people can find it. You see, for any product to be successful, especially if they're within your target audience scope, you need to be able to get them to use it. So you can do like a research and find out what they're struggling with. A product should not be built on the basis of, okay, only the tech people can use it, right? Because I'm sure you want to widen the scope of your customers. Unless if you're saying these people are not within your target audience that you're looking to market, then that's fine. And as Timmy said, obviously, every product, you can't get it right in the first instance. You see, even Apple, that's why they all do releases, and they're doing patches, and they're updating, and they're creating new features.
Yes, and they're fixing bugs.
And fixing bugs as they go along. So what you need to bear in mind is have a product roadmap. Maybe the iteration or the first product launch, tech people, and then even those tech people will still have things to change. Then you can have a roadmap and start adding more features that will make it more user-friendly. So you need to check that. Are these people in my group that I want to sell to? If they are, then we need to fix that problem. If they're not, then, I suppose you still have to you don't want to exclude anyone. That's it.
All right. Can we proceed?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, so let's quickly move on to the UX design process. UX design process. Don't forget where we started, that UX is not the designing of the interface part. No, that is peculiar to the UI. All right. So see, the process of UX, this is the process that makes you to come to develop one of the best products ever. All right. These are things that you need to walk through with your team to ensure that this product is having a fantastic experience. Like I said, you can't throw away the UI as well. They are the both of them ensure that you have the best, one of the best products in town. Okay, the two of them, they are very, very essential to the success of any product. So that's why you can't throw any one of them outside. So what does a normal UX process look like? Now, the answer to this question is it depends. That's how I say. That's how I see it. It depends because you're going to be working with different products. You know, some digital products, some physical products. In fact, the digital product, it varies. You know, you have different aspects of different types of products. They are just so numerous. So sometimes some of the approaches, you know, may slightly differ. All right. But we are still going to be working along the same pathway. So it depends on the type of product you're designing. Now, different projects requires different approaches. So the approach, for example, the approach to a corporate website differs from the way we design a dating app or the way you design an e-commerce site. Okay. For example, a corporate website may just be probably an information site. You just go there to get information about basic things that they want you to know about. But when you get to a dating site, the approach is going to be quite different. All right. Even though you are following some principles, constant principles, of course, you're going to have the way you conduct your research and the persona, and you know, all of those things could be slightly different from the way you work with an information, like a corporate website. Okay, so the user flow is going to be different, and basically your user actually how they move around, how they navigate on the platform, how they try to use the products. Okay, so that's essential. So most designers are familiar with the concept of design thinking. Now, you are seeing on my screen here, this colored boxes, boxes, they are called the design thinking process. All right. So now they are called design thinking process. Can you see the design thinking process as defined by Stanford School of Design, which include these 5 stages, which is empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. But now we're talking about UX design concepts now. Now, of course, we're still going to walk along this line, all right? So from these, which is empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test, we can come up with the UX design process, because you know the two of them they are related in some ways, just some little modifications. All right. So now this is the UX concepts that I'm going to show us. So this, using the concept of design thinking to product design, we will follow a UX process with the following 5 key phrases. Now, the interesting thing is, if you go probably on the internet, or you see different UX processes, you will see different. Of course, some of them could actually mean the same thing, just the use of the languages. Like maybe they're trying to say these. They are trying to say design. They use probably sketching, or they are just trying to use some word replacements. Okay. So, but many of them still walk through this process. All right. So the first one I have on my list is product definition. all right, is what? Product definition. Product definition. And the second one is research. Research, of course, we're going to be emphasizing more on research in this class. We're going to be emphasizing more on research. So the second one is research. The third one is analysis. While the fourth one is design. Design. While the fifth one is validation. Now, I like to just do a quick, what do I call it now? A quick walkthrough of what this guys means. Are we with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So now the product definition is actually one of the most important parts of product design. I mean, yes, let me say product design. All right. Because before you can build a product, you need to understand its context. You need to understand its essence, the context for its existence. All right. So you need to brainstorm on, okay, why are we working on this product? All right. And it is during this stage, all right, you will be able to gather insights about the business goal. All right. And when you are able to do that, you can, or you meet with the stakeholders. You talk to them. You talk to the stakeholders. You probably conduct interviews with them, and define the goal. All right. You do value proposition. You get your tones right. You get it right from the beginning. All right. So once you're able to do that, you are able to set your expectations right from the beginning. So the next thing is, once you're able to understand the goal, all right, and the goal is going to determine the success of that product. Then you go to the research, the product research, and this of course, the research can be in terms of the user research and also the market research, because as you're trying to research about the user, of course, you don't leave out the market part of it as well. All right. So research is one of the greatest investments you can give to your products, because it's going to inform you about adequate design decisions that you're going to make. You get informed about, okay, what do we, because this product is not just for you, it's for some set of people, for the people. So when you make your research through those people, then you can know what to do. All right. You can know, okay, this is the products, this is the users, this is the market, this is the available resources. This is what is going to make you to know how complex the product is going to be. It's going to help you to know the timing. It's going to help you to know how available it's going to be, how the pricing, a whole lot of things. It's going to help you to know. So it's essential. The result and research part is, although we still talk more about the research anyway, then the next thing is the part of the analysis. All right. So when you get your products, when you get your research done, all right, the data you got from your research, all right, you tend to analyze them. So you get to break them down. So what are the users saying? What do they think? Okay, what do they really need at this point? All right. So this is where you begin to get answers to why do we do this, or what do they want? Why do they need this thing? So a lot of questions are going to be answered from your research when during the analysis phase of these things. All right. So that's where you'll be able to confirm or know whether some of your assumptions are correct, because you don't make a product based on assumptions. Any product that is made on assumptions is liable to fail. Obviously liable to fail, because assumptions is the lowest form of understanding, is the lowest form of knowledge. So you don't do that. All right. So and from there, once you're able to analyze and get some of, you can proceed to design. All right. Of course, during the analyzing parts, you would have been able to create a the perfect product at that time, right? Not, let me not say perfect, but a viable, a good product, a usable product, a very good product. So then you can proceed to design, whereby they're going to be doing some sketching. That's when you can begin to, you know, sketch, go on, what's it called now? Do wireframes and even create prototypes. All right, you can create prototypes that you are going to test. And from that, you can proceed to validation. All right, I don't know if I have some of the points on my slides. Okay. UX designers combine market research, product development, strategy, and design to create seamless user experience. You can see that for product, services, and processes, they build a bridge to the customer, helping the company to better understand and fulfill their needs and expectations. So this is so important in design, in UX design. It's very, very important. The market research, the user research, all those things are important for you to be able to strategize and actually give the best product to people. All right. Oh, I even have them here. See, one of the most important part is this. I know you still have access to this, all right, so that you get to read more on it. All right, so you can say this is where you meet with clients, stakeholders, and understand business goals. You see this, and have a clear understanding of what you are trying to achieve with the project. You see this. This could be in form of questionnaires, surveys, and interviews. So you know what you are actually going to be doing. All right, even before you create anything. So you don't just work on, you are assuming this is what we are doing, of which this is what they think you are doing. All right. So that is very important. Then the product research is, once you have defined your idea, the product team moves to the research phase. And this typically includes both user and market research. Like I said, then the analysis part is, the main aim is to draw insights from data collection during the research phase. All right. Moving from what user think they need to why they, look at this. It says moving from what user wants, what user think, and what user needs to why they want, think, and need that product. So during this phase, designers confirm that the team's most important assumptions are correct. All right. So this is when you validate, you get to see, you validate your assumptions. Let me say it that way. This is when you get to validate or discard your assumptions. So you see whether you are correct or not. Then you start designing. That's when the UI, you can start creating wireframes, you can creating prototypes, you can start design specifications, you can start using design systems, and all of those things for you to have something that you can present and even prototype, and people can have hands-on, they can try out, they can test out. Then the last part is the validation, which is called the testing. All right. So validation is also an essential part of the design process because it helps the team to understand whether their design works for their users. Okay. Usually the validation phase starts after the high fidelity design is ready. Now, high fidelity design simply is the one you do in Figma. All right. You've gone through the low fidelity wireframe. You've gone through the medium. Now high fidelity design has been done. All right. So that's when you begin to, people can easily see it as a product at that time and begin to interact with it. So you can validate, test it. So since testing with high fidelity design provide more valuable feedback from MDs, I can see. So it's going to be the users can work with, they can work with wireframes, they can work with all of those things at that point. So you need to at least get it to a level before you can, test that, but not after you have done everything. Of course, get to a stage where you still do some testings to have a better result. So in short, UX design is not a linear process. All right. It's not just something that you just go in a straight line. Like, it's an iterative process. And the phases of the UX process have considerably overlapped, and usually, of course, there's going to be a lot of back and forth. You do this and you repeat, do this and you repeat the process and all of that. So it's going to be there in UX. So it's all of a cognitive way. It's more of thinking in a design thinking, having a cognitive sense about many of those cognitive understanding of some of those things. All right. Do we have any questions so far before we move on forward? Does anyone have a question?
Not quite. I know we have 3 minutes left. How are we doing?
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Are we
okay.
able to do like extra 10 minutes so we can finish the session?
Okay. I will done very shortly.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me quickly do this. User research. This is talking more about the research aspect of the design. So, and it's impossible to have a very good design, a memorable one, without going through the research process. So before working on any projects, it's very essential that you undertake some research, and those research will form you at the end. So it's going to give you an informed position of that product. So one thing you should note here is start with the goal clearly defined, back and forth. So this is a quick research landscape of how you should work. All right. I think maybe in the next hour, so some of these things will be much more emphasized. All right. We have two major common research way. We call one the qualitative, and we also have the quantitative. Okay, we have the qualitative and the quantitative. Now look at this. Now you can see we have it in the landscape. We have the qualitative and the quantitative. Then we have in the middle of it, we have behavioral and attitudinal. Now look at this. When you want to get the best of results, you need to mix this together. But this is what attitudinal means. Attitudinal means you listen to what user says, which means you are actually you create a kind of research whereby you are able to listen to what they are saying. And there is another one whereby you are able to observe. You can some information when you see them using the product. Like you are physically present and you can see what's the first thing these people went to when they tried to use this product. What was the first thing that got their attention? What was this thing? Why did they jump from ear to ear? Why did they do this? Why did they do that? You know, all of those things are one of the things that forms your research data. And it's for you to have a clear and sharpest view of design problem, a mixture of both quantitative and qualitative research, as well as mixture of attitudinal and behavioral approaches will be the best. Okay, it will definitely be the best. So this is the end result of our research. All right. You must be able to answer the following questions. What do your users want to get done? What are their goals? What are they trying to achieve? So it's so critical to undertake user research at the beginning of the project, which helps to define the scope of the project and, you know, of course, exactly what you're doing. So it's dangerous to design based on your assumptions. I think I've said this, which are not necessarily correct. Of course, you don't design based on assumptions. You need to get some of those values right. Okay. So for the qualitative research, it means exploratory research undertaken to establish users' motivations and needs. That's qualitative research. Now, it helps to shape your thinking and to establish ideas. All right. And those thinkings and ideas we have to shape what you are building. All right. You will use those informations to test the product. And the three options you have, no, actually, I think there are more than three actually, but I'm just picking out these three to talk on. We have interviews, we have context inquiries, and we have card sorting. Right? We have interviews, then context inquiries, and then the card sortings. And of course, you know, the interviews now. The interviews is not going to be one-on-one reports with them. You know, they will be able to open up. It could be a structured interviews whereby you have a questions you send to them, or a non-structured one whereby you just allow them to speak. You talk generally about the thing. All right. So the structured one is the situation whereby you have somebody that's interviewing another person. Okay. So, but there's other one whereby you just allow them to talk. Like, so from those informations, you gather so many different facts and figures. Okay. So the contextual inquiry is the one you you carried out probably in a workplace, or if it's it depends. Like I said, the product determines some of the research process that you walk through. Okay, there are some that if it's you need to be in a condition, a place whereby they are using the product and see how you get to them, get to ask them some questions. All right. So it helps you to get observations and insights as well. Then we also have card sortings. Card sortings. So card sortings is actually a way whereby you write words and phrases on cards. All right. And you ask them to organize them. It's just a way of trying to see how they can easily put things together. All right. So and then moving on quickly to the quantitative research. It's primarily undertaken to test your assumptions, and it is useful to help you shape your thinking and to establish ideas as well. So we talk about surveys, questionnaires, and analytics. Surveys, questionnaires, analytics, and A/B testing. All right, let me just talk briefly on that before we round up, because I think this is the last part of the slides. Okay, so surveys and questionnaires first. There are ways where you can gather. In fact, one of the ways you can gather a higher volume of opinions of people, gather higher volumes of informations. All right. So, and those ones don't need to be physically there. You can just, it's an hands-off thing. You can either create a form online that you want people to fill, or you want them to, it could be a printed material. They have a copy of the material. All right. So that you are, making them to fill. So all you need to do is to just give it to them, let them fill the form, the questionnaire, and you get the result. So it's you are now going to be the one to spend time on the questions and distill them down to make sure you're asking the right questions. All right. Ask the right questions, and don't make the questions too long to increase the chance of people answering well and returning those souvenirs. Then the part of the analytics is very, very, very important as well. All right. The analytics part is where you have information. So you gather, what do we call it now? You gather data. All right. Of course, Google even allows us to do that. You can track the number of people that goes to a website in a day or two that make a purchases on this, and you just want to see how things are, traffic are being generated, sales are being made, and all of those things are done. So that's that of the analytics. Okay, and the A/B testing basically is, of course, according to the name implies, it means two versions of something, A and B. All right. So A and B options and testing is actually used to test assumptions that you have gotten from the qualitative findings. You just try to put two things by the sides and see which one is really going to be more effective there. So now, analyzing research findings, even after you have gotten all your researches done, you've gotten them done. There is no much point in doing research if, of course, you're not going to do some old-fashioned analysis like I put on the screen. So analyzing that thing is is even our goal, is where we are going, so that it can help us to make informed decisions. All right. So you can different research method is going to help us to know the strengths, leading the strength, weaknesses, and so many other things in the whole thing. So research is very, very important to finding informations, first-hand informations, all right, and to see what pattern we emerge in the product. So you can embark on the design and even prototype with good informed research data. So this is where I'm going to be wrapping up the class today. Then I will like to entertain some questions if there is any.
Wow. Jimmy, that was really amazing.
Okay, ma. Thank you, ma.
We've gotten quite a lot to think about. So what did you say A/B testing is again?
Now, A/B testing basically is you having it's a tool. You having like two variants of something.
Okay.
All right. So you are able to research. It allow you to test different different design effectiveness against each other. Just having two variants of something and helping you to test the effectiveness of one against the other.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Does anyone have any question? Okay. Do you want to talk briefly about the assignments then?
Okay, good.
Just want to, is it okay if I ask a question, or maybe just, I just want to get something clarified. So when we're talking about like a good user experience, or like a good product or a bad product with a good user experience or a bad one. So what if a product is specifically made for like a specific, just like you said, a target audience, like it's made specifically for a group of people, but then just like the other lady said, like you have the technology, like some people who don't know how to use the technology cannot use that product. Is it not safe to say that the product is still a good product, but then if those other people that don't know how to use it want to fit into that target audience, then they would now have to learn how to use it? Or is it the responsibility of the person creating the user experience to make sure that it accommodates everybody? If I don't know if my question makes sense.
Simi, do you have any view on that?
Okay. Well, for me, what I call, from my understanding of user experience, it helps you to work to uncover or fulfill the needs of individual or group of people.
Okay.
All right. So let's say, for example, you have a product that is specific. If it's going to be a product that is specifically for a set of people, of course, the design would follow that set of people. For example, if something is designed, okay, let me use this for an example. Most smartphones, they are designed to be for left-handed, right-handed people. In fact, many of the smartphones, if you will see them put the thumbprint, most of the smartphones now, they have their thumbprint by the side now. And you would see them putting it by the right-hand part of the phone. Are you with me now? You see it by the right-hand side of the phone. And even if if you see the enter key on WhatsApp, it's always on the right side. So, but the concept is that even if it's going to, if it's not going to fit in perfectly for everybody, of course, it's still going to have a way it accommodates them. But the main goal is that if it's for a set of people, those people will know that every other person will know that, okay, this thing was not even designed for us. It's meant for this particular set of people. So in their mind, they know that they are only using it, or they have to go and learn how to use it or something. But except it's a generalized product. You know, there are some products that are generalized products.
You see,
Just like accessing the websites or using an app. Yes, ma'am.
What you're saying can be very controversial, because most times, back in the days when game consoles and things were designed, I'm going to bring it back to females now. The females were not considered in terms of, okay, the designers were men at the time. So now at least we're having more product designers that are female going into the field. And one of the things that female tech is trying to challenge right now is designing without considering some set of people. So what you're saying happens in real life and is still happening. But as Timmy just said, you need to understand who your target audience is. Who are these things for? Take, for example, a heartbeat monitor, right? If somebody is a patient in a hospital, there will be this machine dragged around that can be used. The home kit will be designed for home user. So it'll be slightly different in terms of how it would look and feel, and it will be portable. So it's all those, you have to consider the end user for any product that we're designing. So it's very key to nail down who are my targets. You cannot serve everybody. And that is what Timmy is saying, that even the mobile phones, we know we cannot have a mobile phone for left hand because maybe they're minority, for example. But if I think that is the market that I want to go into, and I've done my research and I think, oh my God, there's a huge amount of people in this category that are not being catered for, then I can tailor it. So it has to be tailored to users, basically. And then, as we've rightly said, you can't cover everybody. There'll be nuances here and there. But if you have, say, for example, your target audience, you have 80% of them in the back, then you're good. So, and it's an iteration. It's never going to be finished. You know, there's going to be things that we'll discover. And one of the things I say to people is start where you are. Don't wait till it's perfect. Roll it out, push it out there. You will get real life feedback. Obviously, research takes precedence over everything else. Make sure there is actually a need or we're solving a problem before we even go out and start designing. So it's like kicking an egg, really. But at least for us as designers, we need to make sure that the key requirements of our user, not even the client that's giving us the job now, the user, the people that are going to use the products, we've taken those into consideration. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Does anyone else have any questions before we move to the assignment? Okay. Timmy, what are we doing this week?
Okay. So this week is just going to be a mini design challenge. Okay. I want us to do a little bit of research work. I'm coming. Let me quickly check out where I keep the notes.
Okay. So how's it been for everyone? How did you find today? I think.
Oh, it's been really good. We learned a lot. And I think like using a lot of pictures to kind of further illustrate the points he was making made it more practical. Like we could see what he was trying to say. So it kind of like stuck more and made
Brilliant. Thanks,
sense.
Okay.
No, actually, you said so much to digest. Well, I think from next week we're going to be doing like practicals, aren't we? Or what are we doing next week? Because
yes, we should be laying hands on probably Figma or there about next week.
Okay, so when we start to do it, then it will start to make more sense, Shay. Well, try and watch the replay because I know you were in and out network. Watch the replay and then, you know, maybe you get some clarification from there as well. Okay. Right.
Okay. The number one assignment is the roles. You state out the roles of UX and UI designers. Are we there?
Okay, so we can drop this on Telegram, right?
Yes. Okay. I'll copy it now and drop it there.
Okay, and then we'll put it on the forum as well, because people check, yeah, takes out the roles of US and US designer. And some people have emailed their homework, so we need to give them feedback. The one from last week. So Faith, I don't know if you're looking into that so that at least they can get a sense of direction from there. So we'll drop the assignments in the group chat and on Telegram and on the forum. And for the first point of contact, Christina, she apologized. She won't be able to join today because she has a shift at work, but she emailed her work to me. So the point of contact is to drop it in the forum because that is where the facilitators are. If not, it would get lost in transition by the time I send it to them and all of that. So thank you everybody for coming today. And I hope, you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you, Timmy. Thank you, Deborah, Faith, and every member of the team. You guys are really awesome. Every session is like a refresher for me. And it's like, wow, it brings it all back. Thank you. I learned a lot as well. So this is where we're going to park it for today. And we would meet next week. If you have any question at all, use the Telegram. Don't be quiet. Ask your questions. Drop it there if there's anything you need clarification on. And I think we have some content. Do you want to move to the next slide, Timmy? So you can.
Okay, for the further reading.
Further reading, do some research. Don't just leave it there like what we've said. Read more about UI UX. He talked about design thinking. What is that? How do you empathize? What are the tools that you can use for the research and the analysis part of things? So bring back your questions next week. Challenge us. Let us learn together. And one thing I wanted to say as well is when we are speaking, we're saying, oh, this lady, that lady, we are all together. And I don't know, maybe I would have to break people into breakout rooms. I want you to get to know yourselves. We're in this journey together and you need to get to know yourselves. I don't know how else to say that. I think this is week 4 now? We can't be using this lady anymore. We need to know ourselves, like, okay, Modele, Binta, and Sheyi, let's get close. Let's get to, because at the end of the day, peer-to-peer learning helps. You might just, the person next to you might have the answer that you're looking for, or they might have the contacts that could help. So I want us to be a family. I want us to be friends. Do I get a yes to that? That everybody here knows each other and we're referring to each other like, oh, okay, thank God I met Modele in this community. Thank God I met Binta in this group. Yeah? Do I get a yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I really appreciate it. We get fast, we get there quicker if we work together, unless that's exactly what we want to do. In fact, we're thinking of giving you a project to work on as a collective. So now that you're doing things individually, that will bring things together. We're going to probably split people into 2 groups, and then that gives you opportunity to get yourselves. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll do that on Telegram, and then maybe we can just pick a lead for each group, group A, group B. You can give it a name, whatever name you want to call it, and then you start working together and getting to know each other better. Perfect. Okay, thank you for that. I want us to move away from that person. We're all together, okay? Because I think I've made new friends now. I've gotten to know more people. I've widened my network, and that is how it should be. Your network is your net worth. So thank you for coming. Thank you so much. And does anyone have any question before we close today? Anything that you want to talk about Who is the class rep for this group? Do we have a class rep?
Yes, I was appointed.
Okay, you. So it's your job to pull everyone together. Oh, you know that. So please,
Okay.
I'm giving you that responsibility. Let's work together, okay?
All right.
Everybody, massive thank you to Timmy today. Yeah, shout out to Timmy. Mr. Timmy, well done.
Thank you, ma.
You smashed it. In fact, my brain is really like going like, okay, now I know what the bad design looks like and all that. So thank you, everyone. And please don't forget to share your experience with female tech. In fact, we're looking for anyone that would like to share a testimonial. So if you're feeling confident enough to actually tell us about your experience, it helps us for the next cohort and the next one and the next one. So we want anyone that's interested to reach out to us, just give a brief testimonial about how this has been for you, and you really appreciate it. And if you have any feedback as well, by all means, drop me an email on Bootcamp. Do we have one more slide, Timmy?
Okay, ma.
Bootcamp@femaletechpreneur.com, and we would be very pleased to hear from you. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Timmy, Faith, Deborah, can you just hang around for a few minutes, please?
Okay, ma.
Let me talk about, you can stay if you want. Okay, so thank you, everybody, most especially Timmy. I mean, you're the real